Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to remind the House that in 1989, Mr. Speaker, and I was just 3 years old then, in 1989, a lady called Wangari Mathai actually stood up and fought. Many men, many honorable men, MPs, including His Excellency, our former President Moi, because she found out about a 62-story building that was going to be put up, a skyscraper in Uhuru Park, and she wanted to conserve the environment. She stood up, she fought these men. They called her crazy, they called her mad, they called her an African, Mr. Speaker, because she was opposing men. But she knew something. She was fighting for the conservation of trees and our environment. Mr. Speaker, in 2023, today I'm 37 years old, and I have the opportunity to stand in Senate and actually listen to probably descendants of the same men who are now supporting that we actually need to do something about climate change and we need to legislate. Mr. Speaker, I want to say, let this be a lesson to the men and the women who are in this house, to our leaders, that sometimes women who stand up in different places, leaders, fighting for a cause, might actually be onto something, Mr. Speaker. They might be onto something that will lead to climate change, to a bill, to an amended bill, so many years down the lane. So, Mr. Speaker, I stand to support this amendment bill, and I want to urge our leaders in this house that they must emulate Wangari Mathai. They must stand up and take, we don't need to legislate good behavior. They must stand up, sensitize their communities on what carbon credits means, sensitize their communities on what it means to actually benefit in this amended bill. You don't need to legislate good behavior, Mr. Speaker. We just need to inculcate the culture of understanding that even the women in leadership might be onto something. Just like Wangari Mathai was called crazy and mad, and today we are in this house legislating on the roots of the seed that she planted, Mr. Speaker. So I stand to support this bill, and I want to say that as we are legislating whatever, let us not forget that it is that crazy, mad woman called Wangari Mathai who got us to where we are today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Eddie. Senator Sifuna, what is your point of clarification? And where does it fall in our standing order?
Mr. Speaker, I had requested a point of clarification under Standing Order 126. Mr. Speaker, in the last proceedings I was following, my colleague Senator Cherargei was actually removed from this House under Standing Order 126. And in my reading of that Standing Order 126, it says that a senator removed under that order shall thereupon, without question being put, be suspended from the service of the Senate for a minimum of 91 calendar days and a maximum of 180 calendar days, including the day of the suspension, and shall, during such suspension, forfeit the right of access to the precincts of Parliament, and the Sergeant at Arms shall take necessary action to enforce the order. So the clarification I'm seeking from the Chair is whether Senator Cherargei is rightly in the precincts of Parliament, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei did appeal, and he gave valid reasons, and suspended. He's staying away for all that period. So he's rightfully in the House. Yeah. And on the same breath, maybe I was to deliver a ruling on your matter too. And maybe I may proceed to deliver that ruling. You did appeal. I looked at the appeal. It's merited, and therefore, having served 1 day out of the 3 days, you can proceed to continue attending the sessions of this House. Proceed, Senator Eddie.